it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Lancescurv podcast. We had a wonderful show last night. It was somewhat of a rant, and I need to do more of those. It was shoot from the hip. And I want to apologize that we didn't do the other show that we promised because the parties involved, they were very tired and exhausted. But I'm like a fireman. I let them know, whenever you're ready, let's do it. And they're going to do it now. But hey, we have life, we have work, we have things, and we're in our bodies. We're fatigued, so you can't fault anybody for that. But it will come through. And I kind of knew that also because, when you're going through things on such a level, divorce, relationship problems and stuff, you can be like up 1 minute and a deflated balloon the next. But today I wanted to talk about something different, and it came to me when I was laying in the bed, which wasn't too long ago. I take frequent, I don't really want to say naps, I just say lay downs. They kind of give me a mental break between the activities that I do when I'm inside running the platform. Because there's so many different aspects. It's like you use a different part of your brain. You have one brain, but you have many things going on inside of it. You have one city, but you have the red light district, the industrial side of town, your residential, the rich side of town, the hoods. So each part of your brain, when you're indulging in different activities, require a different part of it and a different mindset. I can't use the mindset that I use when I'm editing an article or editing video the same way when I'm getting ready to do a live broadcast, right? So it takes I have to be like 5 or 6 people in one, if not 10, right? So when I woke up this morning and I got up, I make sure before my feet touch the ground, or the floor rather, right? I make sure I know pretty much what direction I want to move in as far as creativity is concerned. That's already set for the night before, and I stay quiet for a little while to see if anything is flowing within me that needs to come to the surface. So I don't start jumbling up my mind with all kind of thoughts, jumbling up my head with all this different stuff, and I don't let social media invade this process. It's a very intimate process. It's a very intense process. I'm just looking within to see what's there, as opposed to what I already set to do. Now, I may want to talk about a certain topic and put it down for the night before and wake up and not feel that, right? So I allow myself that because something else might come to the forefront, or even when I do check what's going on out in the world after I check myself, it may be something so overwhelming, that people want to hear about that. So I have to assess that, absorb that, digest that, and think about what I want to say, because I'm not a reporter. I'm not a person who just takes something and just speaks it over again. No, I have to see something in that story. I have to connect with that story on some level. I have to have a viewpoint and perspective on that story. I may read an article, I may play a video, but I'm going to talk about it right after that. I'm not just going to sit here and be the middleman for CNN. So many people do that, and I don't know why. It's got to be something personal for me. So it doesn't take long for a knee-jerk reaction, because you get on the telephone sometime. Girl, did you hear about so-and-so? No, what? Tell me about it. Well, the president got caught in the bathroom with a little boy, a little girl, or whatever. What? I always knew so-and-so. So when you get into that point where you say, I always knew, it triggered you off. So when I see a story, it's like, okay, this is something that has to trigger me off. I see things that are kind of, womp, 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 womp. I'm not doing it unless I feel it. I've done that once or twice before, way in the past. I'm like, no, I can't do this. This is boring. I got to feel it. So how did this particular topic come up? I didn't even say what it was yet, but I'm just going to walk you through it. How did it come up? How did it come to me? Well, after I ascertained what it was that, you got to use different words sometime, right? What it was that I was going to do for this day, and I'm still open even throughout the day. I may get a phone call and it's something important, right? I got up, took my time, make sure my feet work, make sure my legs work, looked in the mirror to make sure my face was okay, that there was no signs of any health issues, bloodshot eyes or whatever, and I walked into the living room, right? And I looked out of the window, and next door, they're building an apartment, And behind that, across the other street, they're building another apartment. And I sat there for a second. It's nothing that I haven't seen before, but I sat there for a second and I realized, I said, wait a second. These guys are really moving ahead of the apartment building that's close to me. They only, next to me, did the first floor. And they came up to the second floor and they began that. But it's still wide open. And construction over here is kind of hard to explain. It's all concrete. They do things different. And they may not even always use most, look, 99% of the time, 98% of the time, it's them with their hands. And the most machinery you might see is a concrete mixer, you know, and the pulleys that they use to pull the concrete up to when they go higher and higher. But it's usually just their hands, manpower, skill, and unity. And it leapt out at me. That's the most amazing thing to see, right? Now, where am I going with this? Trust me, I'm going somewhere with it. Seeing this, seeing these black men, these African men, in unison with the goal of building an entire building, which the other one, they're up to the third floor already. They've completed the second floor and they're on the third floor without any machinery other than what I stated. When you see that and you realize what we have as a people, that we don't need all this extra stuff, and these structures that they are building, trust me, they're superior to what you see in America. So I know you're going to have some pissed off people saying, well, you know, it's a great thing what they're doing, but over here in America with the FBI, oh, it's crazy foolishness. People always try to promote foolishness. Black people are one. Black people are one. Universally, racism is one against us. Black folks and stolen Africans worldwide need to be one. Even if we come from different cultures, different countries, it doesn't matter. We need to be a unified force with different components. It's okay to be black and be Brazilian. It's okay to be black in America and mixed with Native American, but you are melanated. It's okay to be black and you might happen to be in Russia. I don't know why you're over there, right? Damn sure don't want to be in Ukraine as a black person. And again, I support Ukraine. And you go over there, they don't support you. They racist as hell. And the ones who may not be, if there are any who are not, they're going to be quiet. They're going to be on code. So we need to stop that. We need to deal with our battles. You understand? There's no reciprocation over there. So yeah, back to the story. I'm sitting there and I really thought, you know, because I see them all the time building. But in my waking moments, you know, like when you're coming out of a good deep sleep, or you had some dreams, you're relaxed, and you're still there in that zone. And it's in that place before I go to sleep and right after I wake up that my imagination is still ripe. It's still active. It's always active. You all know that. But even more so. And I think also that when we wake up, we jump up too quick. We should not have to wake up with an alarm clock, because now you're ripped out of the sleep and you bypass that part of you that's very creative and sets the tone for your day. So if you have to wake up by an alarm clock, try to get to bed a little earlier. Try to get to bed so early and train yourself so that you wake up maybe an hour or two before you really have to get up, and stay in that zone and lay in the bed and feel yourself fully rested. But we get so caught up in the world, we jump up. And there are mechanisms and things and checks that our body has to go through that bring us to a better place, so that when we finally get out in the outside world, we're running smoothly and the day goes fast. The day goes by if you want it to go fast. Didn't forget the original subject. I just wanted to talk about that for a second. There are days when I would drive the bus and I'm so zoned because I was so rested, and I went out into the yard and laid out in the sun, you know, because I drove late. So I'd lay out in the sun 11, 12, 1 o'clock, get to work by 2:30, and I would drive till late, 11 hours sometime, most of the time. And when I would go out there, I was so, in a good way now, because this is not a good term, I was so full of myself. Meaning that I checked everything internally, externally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. It's a mind thing, okay? And I went through the process of having myself to myself before the day had me with the responsibilities that I had to take care of. But I removed and banished the jagged edge of having to go to work in those days by having myself to myself. You see? So I went to work like, yeah, okay, I done partied already within. I did all this stuff. It's like I was laying out in the backyard. I'd go in the bushes by that white fence. It was a corner lot, right? But if I can't see a window can't see me. Only a helicopter or a plane going over me briefly. And oh, what a sight they saw. And I would even take out my recorder and record and talk and lay out there for about 2 hours. I'd come to work and one of the passengers, man, you smoke? I said, no, I don't smoke. Man, you so mellow all the time and laid back. But my reflexes were good. So that's a very important thing to do. Don't allow you to be ripped out of that slow, gradual thing. Because think back hundreds of years, right? And I have to before this modern society came around and messed things up. All of these changes with alarm clocks and all of this stuff. How when you look throughout history, how recent is that? It's recent. What, the last 80 years or something like that? Whatever, give or take. But hundreds of years ago, or look into nature, look at the animals. When they're sleeping, they sleep. But they have a way of being aware of a predator being around. But nature works itself out perfectly. But they call that the wild. But we're supposed to be so civilized, and we don't get the proper sleep. We need to stay in that sleep mode for a very long time, deep, and get it all in one shot. If you can't, there's something wrong. Something going on in your mind, something going on in your life. Understand, you may lose a loved one, or something may happen catastrophic, and you have stuff on your mind. Granted, understood. But for the most part, when everything's hunky-dory and everything's just going along smooth, you need to be able to take your time, wake up from that, right? I see a lot of that here. When I go down to the markets, you see people who take naps. They have people that work along with them, but they'll go into the back, or even when they sell it roadside, they'll drop some cardboard and throw a cover over them if they want and lay down, and they are knocked out, mouth all open, one eye open, looking up, the other eye looking ahead. I'm like, is that person looking at me? You wave at them? Nah, they sleep. It's a mind thing, y'all. But we have to do this on purpose. We have to be premeditated in how we live, and then we can truly live. Sleep, sleep, sleep. And I was one, y'all know, for years. Sleep? I don't need no sleep. Let's do another show. And I knew that I needed it, but I was building a foundation, and I'm so glad that I did, but I could have did a little better. Now, going back to that window that I was standing in the living room looking out by the construction guys and the unity that they were displaying and getting it done incrementally, a little bit each day with no machinery, building a building out of concrete. See, it's not like, oh, tap, 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 a little wood, a little nail, a little nail gun. No. This was cinder blocks, poured concrete for the floors. So this structure with the steel reinforcements have to be strong. The measurements, the know-how to do it by hand. It's like a home-cooked meal. A home-cooked meal is always better than a fast food meal. Even though some of y'all, when y'all get real hungry and there's no home-cooked meal in sight, okay, I understand. You know, y'all don't really want to get no food when you want to get that burger, I understand. But you know deep down that in a perfect world, the home-cooked meal is the best option, but we're moving too fast. And that's another thing. I notice in America, construction goes up so fast. But here, they take their time and get it all right. And when it's done, it's going to outlive you because it's a fortress. And see, I'm saying all that to say this now. Look at these brothers who are doing this. It's not about just confidence. It's because they have drawn from past experiences in learning their trade of construction to walk on a job site and know exactly what must be done. Granted, when you're new to something like that, you work under guys and they teach you little things that sometimes those techniques don't catch but after a while, they catch on and become a part of you, and it becomes second nature. All right? So now you see these guys, you can't judge them on how they look. It might be some little dude 5'2" and 110 pounds, and he can build a daggone apartment with a bunch of guys, or a building or whatever, because they're building apartments over there, and you're like, wow, that little guy can work. You can have some of the biggest, strongest looking dudes who don't have no sense in their head, and they can't do a damn thing. So it's a mind thing. It's a training thing. I remember years ago in Richmond Hill, Queens, when I had the house there, and the houses were so close together. If the person next door in the summertime with the window open passed gas, you wake up to something stinking in your room. That's how close it was. But they had no driveways on that particular side of the block, right? So I had to dig one out. I had to have one dug out because we had some space, and I had to park the vehicle sideways, and we put an iron fence and stuff like that. So I got a guy, concrete guy. Never know if I'll ever see him again in this lifetime, but he's a Portuguese guy from Portugal, right? Did I say that right? And his name was Izzy. That's what they called him, right? And I know the history in Portugal and all this stuff with us and everything, but this guy here was a very sincere, hardworking guy. He did not play. He did not play. And I had him do that work in the front. And I thought it was a huge job. We had to dig out all of the dirt from the front because there were steps going up. So there was a whole landing that was surrounded by concrete that we had to dig that out. I said, well, listen, I'm here. I got the time. I can take my time and do that. So that's what I did. I got it all dug out. But then one day he came and he brought a crew of guys just to get it done faster, to dig it out right up to the house. Everything's squared. They were gone. After that, he says, I'll be back on Monday. I said, okay. I thought he was going to bring a whole crew Monday. No, he did not. He made those forms for the concrete that when he poured it and the steps and everything the way I wanted it, because I designed everything, as I always do, right? And he made those forms and came back the next day with the concrete truck and had everything poured. And he waited because he oiled up the forms and everything so the concrete wouldn't stick. It was some quick dry type concrete, right? And when he pulled it away, everything was perfect. Everything was perfect. And the little parts where when he pulled it away, it pulled some of the concrete away, he went back there and smoothed it out. And he got on top of the concrete using these boards that he couldn't smash down the concrete, but he's a little, I meant to tell you, he's a little guy. This guy's no bigger than a squirrel. This guy's like, was he even 5 feet? Was he even 90 pounds? But do you think that I think that would be an easy fight if I had to fight that guy dealing with concrete, grabbing? You know, most mason guys got an inherent strength anyway because it's the best workout you can do. You understand? But no matter who you're fighting, the eyes, the mouth, the neck, all that stuff, the balls, you know what I mean, the kidney shots, you know, it doesn't matter, right? But still, this guy would not have been an easy fight for anybody. I'd lay money on him with some dudes that I see that are so big. I say, this guy's going to whip him. Because this guy was tough, and he wasn't even muscular. He looked like a little hungry boy, but he's a grown man. But he did the job. He also did my backyard. I recommended him to everybody else that I knew, and it was just glowing reviews on his work, right? But so you can't judge a book by its cover in this particular case. Oh yeah, I hear the thunder coming. There's rain coming now. So when you look at these brothers who are doing this work, you have to be confident. You don't just, well, you just have to be confident. No, the confidence comes over time. And you can't tell them anything different. So for us in America, I'm going to swing it back around to that. We're not as confident overall. Many of us are. I'm not putting us down. I'm not putting one faction of the family over another faction. What I'm saying is that when you look at this construction and what they have to do and what they know so well, when you look at us in America and coming up in the school system, we can't look to that thing to give us confidence. We can't look for the oppressor to give us that confidence. If anything, they pull the rug from under our feet and we don't know who we are and we never really get it. And so you got to know who you are. You got to have a culture. You got to have a cohesiveness. You have to have togetherness. You got to have unity. And a lot of us now, and it's pouring down raining now. Look at that. I guess I won't be going down to the mall area or into the other areas. I was going to go down to a whole other area and bring my GoPro, but I'll stay home and make content. I do have to run across the street and get one of those watermelons, though, for sure. Now, I'm quite sure that you can hear the rain behind me. It's coming down really hard, and those guys had to get off of the top of the construction and the project. I was going to go out the window and kind of take a picture of them so you can see what they're doing. And I think I might do a time lapse with that particular thing. Leave my GoPro there and put it in time lapse mode and leave it charged up, plugged in, and let it just keep on snapping pictures, mostly in the daytime, right? But yeah, like I was saying, confidence. See, I'm not going to knock America. I'm not here to do that. My brothers and sisters are over there just the same way as my brothers and sisters are over here, a different faction. But we're all family, and see, because I understand this and because I know this, it's a smooth transition for me. It's not like, I'm over here, man, I don't know, I'm over here with all these Africans. Well, what do you think I am, right? So, I'm over there with my Africans in America too. It's a different culture, different slice of things. I think most of us would agree on that, right? But, okay, we know the earth here in the motherland is like the richest in the world, okay? This is like the food basket of the world. You can't deny that. So I will say that no part of the earth is bad, but this is the best part, that way, when you think about it that way. Why do I say that? Well, you eat a watermelon, you don't eat the rind and throw away the inside now, do you? Ooh, this is some good rind, nice and tough, don't have much flavor, but the rind has its purpose, right? So different parts of the earth has its purpose. The North and South Pole and all those cold parts has its purpose in keeping balance in the whole planet. Doesn't mean it is bad because, I'm not going to go up there and sunbathe at the North Pole. I'd be a fool to do something like that, right? So we have to understand that it's not the earth that's bad, but the systems that rule over the earth that are engineered. And the system that has ruled over our minds in America is engineered. And it doesn't bring forth us in the fullest majesty of what we're supposed to be, only to serve in that system. So whatever we get is elevation over in that part of the world and other parts of the world like the UK and other places where we're under the parasitic entity that rules over our mind because it's their system that they constructed from the raping and the pillaging of us. We may have built it, but it ain't benefiting us, right? So there are things that we have not gotten that leave us malnourished emotionally, malnourished mentally, malnourished spiritually. So we cannot work and perform at our optimum. And then when you look at the dysfunction that has been passed down through hundreds of years and has hopefully not permeated our DNA, but it's permeated something, but we keep pushing it. And the white folks, slavery is over. What are you talking about? But the effects. So what would that same white man that tells you that every time, right? Slavery is over. Well, what happened if you got run over by a truck and survived? And 10 minutes later, the ambulance comes and says, well, the accident is over. No, but you're dealing with the effects of the accident. And you need care, you need treatment, you need to be able to heal from this thing. So this is what I'm talking about. But people never want to acknowledge that. Doesn't mean we're victims. We are champions. And I want to round it around to saying this. We are champions. We are the best. We have built everything. We are melanated, and there's a reason why we are, and there's a reason why the system is on our ass to squeeze out any bit of benefit for them, but not for us. They don't want us to know who we are, yet we do brilliant things. And we look back in school, like me, born in 63, coming up in the late 60s and 70s, elementary school, junior high or / middle school. You call it different things in different parts of the country, right? It is what it is. But they never tell us what we really are. And coming up in those days, really and truly, they talk about Martin Luther King. They don't never talk about Malcolm X, right? But they never tell you historically who we are. And they say in the Vatican, in Rome, all these books and records of who we are. They refuse to tell us because they stole that. And what little they tell us, they've twisted it around. So if we're not connected to our past, which is probably, we know, that just was a figure of speech and slipped out. I shouldn't have used that word that way. But we know, but we don't actually know, because it's hidden from us. So you know what? I'm going to know anyway, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. When you wake up in the morning time and you feel a little down, I went through that whole thing about getting sleep and watching the guys build the apartment building, the building over there, just to say this: you are the greatest. There's none of us who should not feel that we are not the greatest, because we are connected to the greatest. We are so great, they keep us away from our great past, which is really our present. You want to know why? How about that woman who got pregnant? One night stand. Forgot who the daddy may have been, because maybe she was living in a wayward way and had 10 partners and don't know which one, and they all looked alike. But there's that one child that comes out, and the neighborhood sees that child. And the neighborhood remembers when that particular man was creeping with that woman. And they say, you see how he walks? You see that look in his eye? That's that man's child. You see? So all the things we do great for someone else who doesn't want us to know who we are, we got to feed on that. We got to feast on that. There's going to come a day when it's all going to come out. And they talk about Jesus is going to come through the skies, busting through the clouds with great power. This is why they're rearranging things down here fast and trying to knock us off the planet, because they don't want evidence in the biggest crime scene in the universe. When our people come back, who have that great power, who left us here a certain way, who we are related to directly, and they know that. And they're not supposed, no boys up in the house. And you slip a boy inside the house thinking he's going to be there for an hour, and y'all hang out and y'all do something. You know what I mean by do something? And 5 hours later, you on your bed sleeping, and she comes home. You ain't supposed to be here. What are you doing here? There's nothing good coming out of you. They came here to rape, rob, and steal the resources and suck our souls and our psychic energy and everything about us, known and unknown, seen and unseen. That's why they can't let us go. Like a bad breakup where two people break up, but one person doesn't want to let the person go. Leave me alone, I'm done with you. And everywhere you go, here they come following you, want to procreate with you, want to hear what you're thinking, want to put the internet up and use that as a way to get information and hear how you're talking. And ban some of us, because some of us are so, in their mind, of what they would say, radical. We can't get them putting the word in the ears of their sisters and brothers, because they'll rise up even without the books that are hidden in the Vatican, even because it's in us. We are the book. We are the book. Look within, meditate, look up in the sun, ground your feet in the soil, and flow. Just like you see a rapper just flowing with words. Didn't get out, didn't even finish middle school, didn't finish junior high school, and he's mastered the language because he has a talent. The things that we do that we don't have to go to school for shows us how great we are. So know that you're great. Don't let this supervisor on the job make you feel bad or micromanage you, and then you start making mistakes and you feel bad about yourself, like there's something wrong with you. Like, I don't know, I just can't get this work. Maybe I need to move on to a lower position. I don't think I can handle it. Don't you believe that? Don't you speak that into existence? You're greater than that. There's so much more to you than that. And it goes all the way back down in your lineage. And this is why they have to use their creatine and their steroids, and they have to get the plastic surgery, and you go follow behind them. You don't need that stuff. They want to look like you as cover. So when our people return through the skies with great power and strength, that they have taken over our identity and they think they can fool somebody. You know, when you go to the restaurant, at your favorite restaurant, you eat the food, you taste it, you know what's up. Then one day you go there, all of a sudden, well, something's wrong. I've been coming here for years. The food tastes a little different. And you realize there's another chef back there who is pretty much a good chef, but he's there temporarily while the other chef is on vacation, but they didn't tell you. But you know. You know your daughter's family. You know your daughters when everything is okay and whatever, and now they start moving a little shady, have a little different look in their eye. You know when she's giving up that virginity. She acts different if you're truly connected to your family that way. You know when you see your grandmama and a certain look on her face, and she's been ailing for a while, and you're like, uh-oh, we need to make that phone call and get this family collectively here, because grandma's about to go. We don't want this to happen, but I already know it. And they start talking to you, and they in the room talking to people they ain't seen in 50 years. You know it's time for them to go, and they're going to make that transition. There's things that we know. See, white folks, what do you mean? Is there some kind of mental issue that she's talking? I don't understand it. Because you ain't connected to the spirit world. Let's just face it, we are. And all these little TikTok and YouTube shorts and stuff, they may have some information in there. But get within yourself and talk to your DNA. Vibrate that DNA. Put the foods in there that will vibrate all of the secrets of the past that the white man wants to keep away from you and hide in books that are documented, that they know about us and don't want us to know. How the hell are you going to put together a complex a device or piece of furniture and it didn't come with instructions? But we have the instructions, and that's the trick that we have over them. We are great. We have great minds. Let's activate it, and let's stop absorbing the junk that they put to us to keep us vibrating on a lower frequency. The only things a lot of us can only feel good about, man, I tore that thing up last night, man. Woo, she walking bow-legged now. Well, it could have been a nice union, but there's so much more to life than just that. What about your mind? Just getting drunk and smoking and whatever, that's it? We're supposed to leave great marks. It's like those cities that they discover. Well, the archaeologists in Africa, they always looking for something because they know that's where everything started. They found a whole city. Who made that city? That city was left as proof of who we are. Time after time after time again. And they don't put these things on CNN and the Fox News. You got to dig for that news. You got to go online and find them little scientific websites where they talk about us and our lineage. And they know about us. And some are just looking, don't say anything. I was watching a program about many of the wonders here, the unexplained wonders here in the motherland. And it was a white man narrating that whole thing. And you know what pissed me off about it? He was talking about, yeah, well, our ancestors were smart people. Our? No, parasite. Ain't no our. Don't insert yourself into our greatness. They want to wash us out and wash out the history so we don't have the outward instructions to know that we are great. That's why we have to recover as much of our history as we possibly can. Don't let me get down there below in the Vatican. I'll walk out looking like I'm 200 pounds heavier. It looks like he has stuff stuffed up under his shirt. I'm stealing them books. I'll keep going back, whatever I got to do. I'll wear a wig and a mustache and a fake nose and glasses and keep going back and steal them books. I don't care who they got over there. They're going to have to kill me. Right? So understand that we have already been handicapped to us. We are not handicapped now. I'm not saying that. But we have been handicapped. See? You have a race, and we're not racing anybody because we are the winners already. But I'm just using this as an analogy. You have a race, you have a starting line, right? And they blow off the gun, right? And we start the race. Why our starting line has to be way back, like 50 car lengths back there? Because they know that they cannot whip us. So they will do the psychological tricks, have all types of mental advantages or try to get mental advantages because they're the ones that are insecure, right? That's what it is. See, arrogance is a cover for their insecurity. Their arrogance is a cover and a shield for their insecurity. Whenever you see anybody arrogant anywhere, it's because they're insecure. They have to put this image out. They have to be arrogant because they're insecure. Remember that, never forget that. But never forget that we are healing and we have to continue to heal ourselves. We have to continue to do the right things to bring ourselves to a higher vibration, because if we don't bring ourselves up to a higher vibration, we ain't going to be able to make it over that wall of transition and we'll be stuck. All these other indulgences are keeping us low, keeping us without the ability to make the leap. Just because we all so-called die doesn't mean we all transition. I'm going to say it again. Just because we all die, that word what they call die, because we don't die, actually. We transition, but they want to keep us back with their low vibrational indulgences. And as we stay in these things, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, decade after decade, we've made no progress because we're caught up in their world. But we have a whole existence that they know nothing about. And we haven't been taught that by our elders all the way because they didn't know it because it was taken away from us. Let's find that back again. Water always finds its own level back again, no matter how long it takes, and we will find ourselves. But you have to know the great builders, the great thinkers, the great spiritual leaders, the real ones, not these religious punks who follow behind the oppressor's so-called religion, and we run behind it like we're gonna make it from that. It ain't gonna happen. Greatness is inside of us. Acknowledge it in each other. But we have to do the practices, and we have to live a certain way that will elevate us. Anything that doesn't elevate you, you get rid of it immediately out of your life. And take control of your mind back. And you ordain what comes into your life. You have that control. These bad energies around you, you get them away from you. You capture them and banish them from you. Even if you're on a job and have to deal with them, or in a church and have to deal with them, or wherever you are, a neighbor or whoever, your energy shield around you will repel them from the foolishness that they want to bring into your life. Whether it be a stranger who wants to temporarily come at you because they can read your energy and they don't like what you stand for. Trust me, we go through psychic battles every single day and don't realize how much. And when you come home from work at night, you're, phew, I don't know why I'm so tired. I got some good sleep last night, because a mere glance for a split millisecond can drain the power stores in you if you don't know how to deal with that. You stare at me funny, I might stare at you back funny. You stare at me up and look down at my feet. Look, I'll look down at you and hold my nose and keep walking. What they gonna do? Tap you on the shoulder and keep the battle going? But you gotta be in that zone. You gotta be in that place. I'm not letting nobody take me out of my creative zone to manifest what I must manifest in my life. You got to be determined. You can't let people just swoop down when they want and just take your energy. There are certain times that you don't even need to be taking phone calls. Cut the bad boy off. Get into yourself. You have a right to be with yourself. You have a right to be with the energy that was given to you, and it's limited in this world, but if you cultivate it properly, it's actually unlimited, and you will benefit from it from the days ahead of you and from years to come. I don't know if I made sense to anybody. I just want to say I love you all. I'm on to the next one. That's all I have. I emptied myself out, and I will continue to do that all day, every day, as much as I wish. Because I know some things are coming through me. It ain't me. I ain't great. I'm not this scholar. I'm not this whatever. But I motivate. I know one thing. I will motivate you. I don't want to see anybody around me down. Now, if you're a negative person, I'm not trying to motivate that for negative things. No, I'm not going to do it. But I hate to see this world come at our black African minds and try to suck it dry of any enthusiasm. You have a desire to do something, and you have somebody come at you and try to take that desire away. I don't care who it is either. I mean, it could be a stranger, it could be somebody on a job, a supervisor. And most times, it's people in your family. I'm not going to allow that either. I don't care who it is. I have a day ahead of me. I have time ahead of me. If I'm in good health and good mind, a good brain, we going for it. We going to manifest it. We going to make this thing happen. Let nobody take away your positive feeling for yourself. And if you lost it, you need healing. You need to go to your hospital, your spiritual hospital, what you set up inside your house, inside your home, or that place that you go to. Your house may be crowded with family members who are negative. Only place you can get some peace of mind is sitting on the toilet. It might be so much of a frenzy going on over there. You find yourself sitting on the toilet and you got your pants or your dress all the way down. You're not really going there to go to the bathroom. You're just trying to get away from folks. It's like, it's raining outside, I can't go outside. Or you sit out in the car and don't even come in. You know, whether it's your car or not. You just hide. You got to get to the place of peace where you can think for yourself and see what it is that you want to do, because nobody has the right to your energy other than you. If you choose to help somebody out with it, fine. You want a budget, but you just can't allow people to swoop down and take away your whole day. You planning on something positive, you're writing a book, you're drawing a picture, you're doing something, and hit it. 3 hours later, you talking about stuff that you don't even want to talk about. You can talk to them when you're ready. And you look around, they leave you limping. Oh man, see, the afternoon done when I ain't gonna get done. No, I'm sorry. There will be things that come up as emergencies and you have to deal with it. And sometimes other people's emergencies where the only help that they would have is you. And if you deem them to be righteous and worthy of your help, fine, you go for it. But we have to understand that we are the captain of our life. We commandeer this life. We know it's ultimately the creators. We understand that. We're in a system that we don't control, but if we submit to it, I'm talking about the righteous system now. We don't control it, but if we work along with it and understand how it works, it makes us mighty. Now the engineered system, they ain't never gonna let you control that. That's not your system to be in anyway. But if I'm in the system of nature, and I know how to ride those waves that are powerful, that will engulf me if I don't surf right. But if you ride those waves and you create that momentum to know when to go to bed to get your rest, to know when to get up and the right foods to eat to make you strong and the right things to put into your mind, I don't care if your enemy lives right next door to you. They can't do a damn thing with you. They only bring out the best in you. And you are going to ascend. Because your confidence comes because it's rooted in something that is proper for you. And you're not carrying or masking any negative feelings and vibrations. There's a lot of that out here. There are a lot of positive people who are really negative people in drag, pretending to be positive and about it. But look at the karma that they manifest in their life. You don't have to do nothing to them. They manifest the karma of, and they ain't gonna tell you, but you'll hear all about it. Like, oh damn, it's like that? Oh well. And don't take joy in it. Let karma work itself out. But be all right with karma yourself. Don't think negative about it. Be positive and do your thing and be a plus to this world. When you are a plus to this world, the Creator's gonna keep you here. You may have obstacles that are designed to teach you things, just like those construction guys who learn things that they didn't know. It hones you and chisels you and makes you better. Yeah, that's what it's all about. You will be kept here. You'll be preserved. And your positive looking, inwardly negative naysayers will say, what the hell is keeping this person up? What the hell helped them to get this far? When we laughed and said that they would never get this far. When we laughed and said that, oh, they could never go on without me, they need me. How arrogant. And arrogance, again, is only but a mask and a covering for extreme insecurity. I dare anybody to say to me that it's anything different, because I see it working out in my own personal life. And what a victory that is, to make me keep going, to keep doing the practices I'm doing, so you can see it come out of my work. Because you connect to those from the past who are not really the past, but they are the present living through you now. Because in you, you have DNA, let's just say, from the past. And you are walking in the present. And you got a sperm or an ovary for the future. And this is why this wicked system wants to mess us up sexually so we don't procreate. All of this birth control and all this stuff going on in the motherland for these people who are so nice. What they nice about? They know what time it is. I think I've overstood my welcome. Let me just say song again. But I really mean what I say. I don't play with this thing. When these things hit me, I have to convey it. If you ask me to repeat this, I wouldn't even know how to do it. I'm like, what did I say? I said that? I flow with it. And that's the way it's going to be. But anyway, we're going to have more shows today. We're going to have another live tonight. And it's scheduled. Sister Beatrice Noel. Hopefully everything works out where there's no power outages, whatever. But it doesn't matter. It's going to get out there anyway. If not today, tomorrow, but we plan on doing it tonight. The storm is around here and there, little sprinkles coming down. I still have to run out and do some things. But like I said, leave your comments, below. And go to the site Lancescurv.com and look around and leave some comments on those pages. Not just on the chat room, but go down to the bottom of each post. If you like something there, a video there, an article there, piece of artwork, leave your mark in the comment section. I have it on every page. Anyway, much love to you all. Thank you so much. And I'll see you on the next one. Lancescurv out. Peace.